Ah, the plain truth. Haha, you are first, yes. Hello, flat earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Oh, ice cream. That's how they sell ice creams around here in Phuket, Thailand. Who's there? Boomy, hello again. All right. I've prompted to do this because I've been having one of those extended comment arguments with someone. I think he calls himself Cosmic Spanner. Yeah, in Phuket. Who's that? Jan's Art. Hello, fellow flat earther. Jan's Art. What kind of art do you do, Jan? Yeah, you know, it's funny, isn't it? You can have all these arguments back and forth, and they'll use all kinds of ad hominem attacks and you know, language, and then try and distract you. But flowing water is all the proof you'll ever need, because whenever you have these arguments with globe earth proponents, they keep on referring to a model, not reality. And the fact that water flows down curves, like we see here, like anyone can see anywhere, anytime, is absolute proof, isn't it? I'm going to go and sit myself on this little thing here so I can hide from public view, because at the moment I'm masked up. And the reason is because here it is the law. It is the law to wear a mask outside, in public, anywhere. Who's that? Should have stood. Morning from New York. Ah, how's it in New York? All right. Is it bustling in New York? I thought I'd share this pleasant view. This is a little, just a little pond. Oh, I'm going to sit on some ants here. I've got to be careful. Little pond behind my neighbourhood is over there. I'm not in one of these big houses. It'd be nice to be in one of these houses where you've got this lake. Who's that? Bodies of water must be contained. A globe is not containing. Exactly that. Yeah. Any snakes? Probably in the undergrowth here. It's funny though. Kids come and play in here, and people come and get fish. There's this old man that comes down from time to time, and they get water snails and things like that. So yeah. Oh, hi. So it's rather pleasant. This dries up in the dry season, so it's the rainy season right now. What's that, Jan's Art? Water is level was one of the many proofs that swayed me. The other was the absence of a highlight on the moon. Okay, yeah. No, it's funny, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure we've all been through it. You know, when you first get into flat Earth, you get completely distracted. Of course, the entire heliocentric model is built upon assumptions of the sun, and you know, the distance from the Earth to the sun, and looking up at the stars and all that stuff, and you get way distracted on all of that. And of course, it's just down to a model. But again, here is reality. Undeniable, provable, demonstrable reality. There's no point on the Earth that water doesn't do this. And of course, it's funny because then you get the argument back that, oh, well, you can't see it from other people's perspectives, and and it's like, well, no. When we are given images of a globe model, we are told that from wherever your point that you're standing on the Earth, then someone further away from you is below your current level. And you get all sorts of arguments about, of course, there's the assumption of gravity. And try not to drop this in the water. That would be tragic, wouldn't it? All these assumptions about gravity. Maybe I should turn the, I'm not sure how to do this, if I can just turn the camera around so I can, well, this view is probably more interesting than the view of my face, so we can keep it there. But yeah, I'm sure we've all been through it, yeah, where we just get distracted by these arguments, and they're all to do with all these assumptions that are made about the model. Oh, another one from Jan's art. Trail reflection from sunset or moon across the water that leads. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Don't confuse elevation with earth curve, Nick, says the plain truth. Well, yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah, again, that's just playing with the language, isn't it? There's the, I mean, a lower, they're still saying that someone in the distance from you on a globe is at a lower elevation. And they will kind of make all kinds of conjecture about what level means. And of course, it's jumping to that external reference frame out of reality, out of the reality that we see here, and referring to a model. Yeah. You know, again, you know, this is something that, you know, we all know that Dell from Beyond the Imaginary Curve has been quite instrumental in clarifying, even, you know, in months, years after all these arguments and doing all these observations. And yeah, it's true that, you know, observations are not measurements. This is another thing. Observation isn't a measurement, and we'll get these arguments about observations of the sun, and I keep saying it's you know, distances. It's funny, isn't it? Because what you've got is this assumption of the sun's distance, but that's always based on angles. It's not based on any physical, tangible measurement. It's you know, it's using angles and then just assuming that a certain distance across the level surface of the Earth is part of a circle, an imaginary circle, and that's why they use nautical miles. Who's this? Kyle Lily. I think you guys just can't handle the world is huge. That's why it looks flat to us on the ground. You could make a golf ball look. Again, that's a straw man argument. Where, okay, Kyle, I can handle scientific, demonstrable, measurable proof of water not flowing down a curve, if you've got it. Yeah? And howdy, Cup. Come on, Cup. Oh, this guy's going in for doing something. Don't know what he's looking for. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe he's just picking up some, looking for some snails. Yeah. Yeah. So what was your name? Kyle. Is that Kai? Kai. So it's not about not being able to handle it. We've been demanding the proof, and this is it. What you don't understand, Kai, is that this is reality. And when you talk about curvature, that's not reality. Water. Can you tell me at what point water doesn't flow down a curve? No matter how big the Earth is, where does this that we see happening here, and you can see anywhere on the Earth in the real world, where does this not happen? Where do ships go uphill or downhill on a slope or a bulge of water that isn't flowing? Where does that happen? It's not that we don't get the concept. We all get the concept. We all understand it, but this is our reality. And it doesn't take, and it is a leap of faith. If you have to jump out of this reference frame and imagine yourself looking at the Earth side on, and then imagine that level is down towards the center of a spherical Earth, and then you start talking about elevation and all that stuff. We get it. We understand it. But we also understand that any argument about the globe Earth is referring to a model. Yeah. And yeah, it's just, I'm not sure. Oh, ahoy, look up. Wow. So he's collecting snails. Cool. There you go, that's how easy it is to find food in this place. You know, it's rather like going down to the beach and looking for mussels. Yeah. Oh yeah, you know. I'll be done there. I'm just asking her to go and boil it. In fact, I heard, I just found out this the other day. I heard a story. I've got my mask on because people do snitch. Yeah, people will snitch on you here for not wearing a mask. In fact, I was just coming up. I'll just show you. I was walking up this part last night with my mask around my chin like this, and a police car came past, and they stopped to see if I was wearing my mask. And thankfully, at least, you know, like I said before, as long as it's around my chin, it's okay. Yeah. Just to show that I'm ready to pull it up in case I have to interact with anyone. Yeah. So, yeah, catch corona from the water. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can catch from this water. So there you go. He's got his meal. Yeah, he can go home now, and you can, you know, you would just boil up those and mix it with some chili and stuff like that, and away you go. There's your food. So that's what's wonderful about here is you can just step out into the bush, as it were, and go and get your lunch. There's fish in here and all sorts. Yeah. So what can they do? What if you're exempt? I can't prove that I'm exempt. The thing is, it's like anything. It's like I saw the police in London kind of issuing tickets for people on getting on the bus without a mask. What can they do is the thing is, it's just like anything, isn't it? It's an opportunity to generate money for the Treasury. That's what all of these things are, whether it's speeding fines or, you know, so they've just, you know, they bring in these fines for not wearing a mask, whatever country it's in. All it is another way to extract money out of the public, isn't it? And of course here it doesn't go to the Treasury, it just goes to the local police station's pot, and they distribute it accordingly. That's how they do it. You know, sometimes they do road checks and things like that with, you know, they check your tax and things like that. That's the thing, you don't get points on licenses here. You'll just get a ticket, you pay the fine, and that's it. It's done. And yeah, okay, you didn't have insurance or you didn't have your road tax, then you know, you got caught, you paid a fine, and that's how it works here. You know, the opportunity, you know, a policeman's salary is not very much. So you know, that's how they make it up with stuff like that. Just, you know, so tickets are thrown out in the US, really? Okay. I'm exempt asthma, but most people do, so brainwashed it is a nightmare. So yeah, I'll bet boom me. Yeah, it's kind of like you still have to, you know, we've seen a few clips, I'm sure, of these people just, you know, just average people demanding exemption papers. It's insane, isn't it? Of course, I mean, it's, you know, we know where it's all going. Yeah. As I've said before in my previous video, which was, you know, I apologise for being all over the place in that video, but to be honest, let me just turn the camera around here so I can see you and chat at the same time. Let's just try and, yeah, okay. Yeah, my last video was a bit of a rant, and it was just a bit all over the place. You know, my apologies for that, and thanks for all the kind comments. Because, I mean, for the past few months, I've just been, it's just, you know, it's just, I've had no one to talk to, really, about it. And as I said, you know, if you go out here in public, I mean, it's all around you. You can't tell. It's like maybe at home, you know who you can talk to because they won't be wearing a mask. But here, everyone's masked up, and you just don't know what they're really thinking. And I'm just seeing more and more news reports of people getting, yeah, especially foreigners getting busted. So it becomes very frustrating. Yeah. And yeah. What's that? Dale West Watson. Yeah, fair shout. Again, if I was in my own country, yeah, I'd be, you know, you'd know your rights. But here it's just, yeah, I've just got to be a little bit more patient and wait. The Prime Minister did actually say that within 120 days, however many months that is, what's that, 4 months, he's going to open up the country regardless. But I still think that's with the provision that tourists would have to come with, you know, they would only accept vaccinated tourists. Okay, Bumi, I totally understand, Nick. I'm also a guest in my country, so your hands are more... Yeah, that's true. Okay, where are you, Bumi? Yeah, it is, you know, it's... And I think, who knows what's really going on in... Oh, you're in Germany, okay. Wow, so... yeah, it's tough, isn't it? It's tough because you end up being... You know, especially, I mean, yeah, here I'm a big, tall, white guy. Well, skinny white guy, tall, that stands out a mile anyway. And so I'm very conspicuous. And there is, you know, people... And I think here I was saying the other day that they're not so zealotous, but they kind of are. I mean, I can go down the road, and I can. It's funny because I just go down to the road. It depends. It really depends. Some of, you know, most of the time people are doing that. They're doing this. They're just wearing it like this, and then they're kind of out of politeness, you know, because they genuinely think they're being polite, you know, and they're trying to, you know, they'll bring it up to talk to you. So yeah, you don't want to offend the locals. Exactly. That's it. You know, I'm just, you know, it's that kind of, yeah. You know, when you're a guest somewhere, you just have to kind of go along with it, don't you? Yeah. What's that? Someone said something about should have stood. Canals, bridges, railroad tracks, all designed with no curvature. Account surveyors and pilots the knowledge, no curve. Yeah, in fact, there was a good video by Flatty McFlatface I saw the other day. Yesterday was it? And there's these airports which are obviously flat and level, or airstrips that are maybe like 3 or 4 miles long, and next to bodies of water. So yeah, if those bodies of water were curving with the so-called earth curve against a level airstrip, then of course the water would flood onto the thing. Yeah, it's just, you know, just look at reality, and that's all we get. That's all we get is arguments for a model. And it's amazing, isn't it? Because you can very rarely get a globe believer to agree that they're defending a model, or even discern the difference between, you know, a model, an interpretation of an observation, and a physical measurement, or just reality. I think it's again, you know, kudos to Dell for really highlighting that, and I think it is the way to go. You're just going to keep coming back to the reality of that. Yeah, water. Oh, I'm trying to show you water. I'm trying to show you yeah, that's reality. And if you want to claim that reality is any different from that, where water doesn't flow down a curve, then go ahead and prove it. That's what you need to do. Talking about it doesn't prove anything. Oh, a little doggy come down for a dip there. He's probably going to go in and get cooled down. Yeah. Oh, is that nice? Yeah. Oh, chilling. Oh. Cool. Tyler. Okay, what's that? Pilots couldn't land on a straight flat runway with a jet moving at 100. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hello, mate. Oh, yeah. You're on YouTube. Yeah. Tyler. When we did a live stream, caught the moon from USA, Sweden, Australia, North Africa and Sweden at the same time, impossible on the ball. Wow, yeah, okay. And yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because you get those arguments with the moon. They say, someone will say, it's impossible to see the moon, the same face of the moon from different locations. And again, they're making assumptions about what the moon is. And all these, you know, balls, flying space balls and stuff. Hi Nick, when did you first become aware we living inside a cult? I think I did a video about that I think it was 2015. I did a video about it. I was actually on my balcony, and I remember kind of, you know, this hit me. It was one of those kind of one of those moments where you realize that, wow, you've been indoctrinated. We've been indoctrinated into this cult. I did actually cover that topic. So it was about 2015. Yeah. But then, of course, I mean, I remember ever since I was a kid thinking about certain things, and you see the way people act or react, and you see how society is, and you realize that people are often doing things out of, because they feel that they have to, because that's how, they feel the pressure to do so. I've always rebelled against that in some senses. Maybe that's why I'm here. It's just I couldn't stand the mindset. So although it was never a clear-cut realization, there has always been this desire to seek out something other than the culture that I was brought up in, because it just didn't feel right. Yeah. But then again, I mean, coming to Thailand was a massive culture shock, and even though I came here with what I thought was an open mind, it still took me ages to really kind of, because at first, you come here with that. I came with that kind of assumption that I was coming from a kind of more superior culture. That was part of my cultural upbringing. That even though I was trying to get away from that, and I thought I was being open-minded, I still had this superiority complex because I was from England. Okay, so yeah. Oh, hi, Sandra. Good to see you too. Your comment on my last video when you said you felt like you've been dumped in a lunatic asylum. I wasn't sure whether you thought it was just because I was acting like a loony myself. I really felt I was at my wit's end. It was just like, wow, there's so much. The thoughts were going through my head faster than I could get them out. So I know it seemed a bit crazy, but hopefully this is a bit more coherent today. Yeah, that's true, Boomy. The brainwashing in England is that they were best in the world, and I think that's I have nothing to do with you. Okay, thanks, Sandra. I feel better knowing that. And what's always been interesting about the Thais is they've always kind of known, they understand what is attractive or maybe not attractive about their place. Flat enough, hi. Lunatic, adjective one that believes that the earth rotates around the moon. Yeah. Dear. I think that it's very useful, isn't it? I mean, like if you, hello, flat enough, yes. If you have, gone to a different culture and tried to, or you have that awareness that you're in this kind of a certain culture, that really helps, doesn't it? Because then you start to observe and you start to kind of detach. And I suppose a lot of the time we react in a very. I remember when I was back in England, I just struck up a conversation with a guy. This is very early on in the Rona thing. There's a guy at the supermarket hugging a load of bottles, a bottle of vodka and some other spirits. We're lining up at the cash till together, and I said, I said something about that, and he said, yeah, it's Friday night, innit? I'm like, oh yeah, Friday nights are a thing. But they're a thing because of the whole 9 to 5 work schedule, I suppose. I suppose that's just like, he kind of looked at me funny, and I had a, only was nice and all that, but it was like, that's as far as the conversation went, because that was just one of those little things that made you realize that, oh yeah, that's just a cultural thing. Yeah, I forget what day it is. I think, is it Wednesday or Thursday? I don't know. TP, hello, long time no see. Yeah. Did I look into the Vedic culture? Somewhat, yeah, and obviously a lot of the stuff here is based on the Vedic culture as well. Yeah, especially the things like Rahu, and a lot of the you see, Bangkok is also, it's called the city of the 9 gems, and they have this whole thing about the colours and the gems and the different energies that they have. In fact, Bangkok comes under, there's several names for Bangkok. So yeah, that's very much connected to the kind of Vedic cosmology and numerology. It's all very much intertwined here. It's a real kind of, although Thais have a very unique culture, there's a lot of the kind of Indian Vedic culture. A lot of the language is based on Sanskrit, which is fascinating, and I often feel that I could have or should learn a lot more about the history. It's Thursday there. Okay, it might be Thursday here as well, because we're only six or 7 hours ahead of the UK. So that's that whole cult thing, and the globe is very much a cultural thing for the West, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? Because this desire for hello FPV Angel, hi, good to see you, man. FPV, I said that right, didn't I? Yeah. Because that it's funny, isn't it? Because here the culture, the Buddhist culture, really is about self-discovery, or discovering discovering consciousness, and trying to detach from the material world. Hi, John, good to see you, man. Being aware of the world of illusion that we're born into. Whereas, of course, we've got in the West, it's very much tries to poo-poo any of that. And of course, the entire heliocentric globe thing is based on this idea that the material world came first, life somehow kind of took hold, and at some point over stretches of millennia, consciousness kind of developed within those living souls or living entities on the earth, or there isn't even this awareness that there is a separation between mind, body, and consciousness. And so at the very least, I'm very happy to have been in a culture where that's not always self-evident, but of course the Buddhist teachings try to teach you that or that it's something that anyone can realize with meditation, and I think that maybe comes with the same, the Holy Ghost and all that as well. It's kind of, you can break that down into the three things there: the mind, body, and spirit. Yeah. Did I meet Eric there? No, I've never met up with Eric. I think he's somewhere north of Bangkok. I'm not sure exactly where. So no, I'd love to meet him. Love to have a chat. And Eric's a good example of someone that was obviously on that path of veganism, just kind of taking care of your body and the martial arts and things like that. He's kind of really full on there, isn't he? So what's that? Pair a dice found. Heaven is a literal place, a celestial sphere of stars rotating within the motionless concave earth. Okay, you're a concaver. You're still welcome here. That kind of, what one realization I suppose I had was that's what's so fascinating about this, is looking around us, is that it's totally open to interpretation, right? So, to me, I would be quite, if everyone could reach that kind of understanding that what we see is totally open to interpretation, and then you wouldn't have to feel that you'd have to be hard line about anything. No, I don't agree that it's concave or it's it's like I was saying, the whole thing about the water here. It's water behind me. It's demonstrably a level earth and water flows. Beyond that, the outer reaches of it, what's above us and all that stuff, no idea. And I think that's that's the thing. I mean, it's and it's very true that we're born into this world, this physical place where it really is totally open to interpretation. But then again, that doesn't make me cold-hearted. There is some kind of God, creation, consciousness, whatever you call it, but that's the illusion. I think the illusion here is that we can interpret it and we can have all these imaginary ideas about it, and we can, whether it's looking up at this, it's just, it's totally open to interpretation, and it is very difficult to detach from that. But yeah, there's you get into the arguments, and this goes the arguments with laser gyros and things like that. It's all based on Sagnak's findings with light, and it's still all down to interpretation, whether you're talking about relativity, special relativity, Einstein, Newton. These are all theoretical physicists. They're all just interpretations, and ultimately you can create a model. Of course, the argument with ring laser gyros is that when you fire these things up, they're made by Honeywell. These devices that are in aircraft for navigation. You fire them up, and depending on where you are on the world, it will take some time to work it out. But ultimately, we're talking about time, and that's the thing. Something's moving, you have to have movement. You see, again, just like the water behind me, if it doesn't move, it stagnates. Movement is time, isn't it? So the movement of the sun and the moon and the stars, this creates this is essential to life. If this pond here, and it does, when the rains stop, it doesn't flow anymore, the water level goes down and it stagnates, and you don't have life in there anymore. But now the rains have come and it's moving, life has returned to this. So you have to have movement. Whatever is actually moving to create time is again, it's all open to interpretation. But there's no proof or evidence or measurement of the Earth moving, and of course, the only reason that it's assumed to be a sphere is to justify night and day in the heliocentric model. All this focus on the sun, and again, I'm sure all of us have been distracted at some point by this argument about the distance to the sun. And the thing is, it doesn't matter. Even when you use a sextant to measure the angles to the sun, it doesn't matter how high the sun is, even if you get these ideas of it being maybe 3,000 miles above the surface. And it's very true that from every single location that you measure the height of the sun using angles, it's going to be different. And that's because it's all based on perspective. But there's only ever going to be a certain amount of degrees between the sun at its zenith and the sun at the horizon. 90 degrees, right? So it's all converting degrees into distances, and it's arbitrary. It doesn't matter. But they found that 60 nautical miles is a good measure for, 60. If you come away, if the sun's at its zenith, I'm trying to point this out. Sun's at its zenith, so you're looking straight up at the sun, and then you move away from it. 60 nautical miles that you move away gives you 1 degree of declination of the sun. So that's it. Doesn't matter how high the sun is. They were, rather than measuring it in miles and kilometers, they found that 1 degree. We basically break down 1 degree of declination of the sun. We'll say that's 60 nautical miles, and then we'll do the math to work it out. But that then you just then go ahead and assume that the 60 nautical miles is part of a circle, because you can multiply those 60 nautical miles into your 360 degrees and get the equivalent of the circumference of the equator. Again, circumference, it's just it's a conversion or translation or interpretation of circumference is usually Sorry, just let me, circumference is usually a circle, isn't it? But they say, oh no, so even when Eratosthenes is talking about the circumference, even if you got that right, the circumference that the sun is doing, it's doing it, circumference is interpretation of a circle on a flat surface. But they say it's the circumference of a globe. Well, again, that's just interpretation. How are you going to do to prove that? But according to many, that's proof of curvature, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, Tyler, yeah, it should be 10k. Oh well, it is what it is. It's nice. It's nice to get together and have these chats. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Maybe I should just give you. Well, I'll just give you a little walk around so you can see what it's like around here. Yeah. How's that? Yeah. So there's our flowing water, all the proof that you ever need. Yeah. And so I'm, unfortunately, I'm going to have to, stick my mask around the chin, just to do that. So yeah. So this is, yeah. Oh, it's about 80. It was about 80 odd degrees when I came out. Getting on for the evening here. There's some nice. Yeah. See, look at this massive tree. Yeah. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. You're telling me that this isn't intelligent design, this is just an accident? Yeah? I'm not even sure what this tree is. Yeah? But it's massive, isn't it? It goes all the way across there. Yeah? Alright. So, let's just have a little walk about. Yeah? Just so you can see. This is just down the road from my neighbourhood. Yeah? So, you can see a good mix of how it is here. So what you'll notice is people on bikes, most of them not wearing helmets, but every single person wearing a mask. Yeah. And we'll just take a trip down here. And there's a guy down here who does wicker work. I'll show you that. There's bamboo. That's bamboo, grows really well. Alright, see, masked up, no helmet, everyone's got a mask on. So there's that's a field of papaya trees there, and this just goes off to the distance there. Yeah, there's you can see all the telegraph wires and stuff. Pretty messy, but it works. Still get internet. Okay, there's someone doing something. All right. Oh, there's some bins. Yeah, it's a pretty, so. Someone with their cart that they go out and sell their stuff with. There's your average there's a motorbike and sidecar like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this guy's doing wicker. Yeah, see him? Yeah, see him over there? These are they use these for keeping chickens. Yeah. So yeah, you can see he just sits there all day and does that by hand. It's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah. That's noodle seller there. He's going home. He's probably sold his lot. That's another thing about people here is once they've done they'll go out and sell their wares, and once they've done their lot, that's it. They just go home. Yeah, so they get done for the day. Here's a little factory. These guys make metal stuff. I see them cutting and bending and lathing metal here. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So these guys do some other kind of metal work here. Looks a bit scruffy, doesn't it, sometimes? This guy, friendly mechanic there. He's always doing, he does big trucks and stuff. Big cab. That's my little motorcycle mechanic there. Yeah, oh, look at that. Yeah. There's your average motorcycle repair shop. Yeah. Okay. Laundrette here. Little laundrette. So, you bring your washing. They just have these normal washing machines, and then they got a little coin slot on the side, and you do your washing like that. Yeah. You get your petrol here if you're a motorbike. Fill up with petrol. Huh? Thumb video YouTube. Coffee. and other drinks. Yeah. So, you know, this is it. It's very chilled. Yeah. People have a very chilled lifestyle here. Yeah. There's a relatively new little, you know, single bungalow, single story houses. Relatively new. Yeah. Couple of million baht, I think they were selling for. I'm not sure how much that is, 1 or 2 million. Little hairdresser guy there. Yeah. Little barber. Yeah. So, yeah. We'll just carry on down the road here, if you want. Yeah, what's that? I'd love to be able to run a food cart. Yeah. I was thinking of doing that with the fish and chips. You know, not necessarily a food cart, but a little, do the fish and chips like, you know, kind of just in a little shack thing. I think that would be ideal. Someone doing their garden there. Cup. Don't know what they are. I think that's white beans. Yeah. So. Oh, hello, dogs. Hello. All right. All right. Little shops here. Oh, this wall is pretty decrepit. Yeah. Little shops. There you go. Little side shop there. And it's a little tattoo place here. Friday fish fry. What's that? Why do people ride motorbikes? Yeah, with that. Well, that's the thing. As I was saying, it's the law. It's written into the Royal Gazette, which makes it law. There's a little shrine here, little Buddhist shrine. Yeah. That you have to wear masks in public. Yeah, wherever you go, no matter what. Yeah, that's a blanket law. It doesn't matter how old. You know, that's just the way it is. That's what they've introduced as the law. Yeah. So. This is these. You see people live in these little rental places, so they're one-room rental apartments. Blind person lives here. Oh, that's a sign for massage. It's blind people doing massage. Yeah. So even the blind have to go out and earn a living. They don't get any support. Hello. Yes. Hello. Yeah. You just saying hello. Yeah. Another little shop. Yeah. All right. So this takes us out onto the main road. Yeah. All right. And Durian, the smelliest fruit in the world. Durian there for sale. Yeah. And it's kind of rush hour now. A bit busy now. There's a school there. And yeah, you can see that's pretty crazy. Yeah. See people, and you say, have to tell my kids sometimes that you know if they ever went to England, they wouldn't be allowed in the back of a pickup truck. Well, they make the kids wear masks. Still, I thought that was kind of like they were kind of left. Yeah, my kid has to do that. Yeah, so you see the hills over there. I love using this as an example because the sun goes and sets behind those hills. I don't think it's quite a mountain, but that's the thing. People forget that if you can be a certain distance away from a hill and the sun sets behind it, then the same thing's happening whether you're 1,000 or 6,000 miles away from the land and you see the sun set across water. Well, the same thing's happening, isn't it? Once the sun goes beyond that point, it's set. But even if that mountain becomes a tiny speck on your horizon, you don't even see it, it's still there and still blocking the sun. Yeah, people kind of forget that. Yeah. So you check out all these people waiting to turn now. Yeah, gets a bit hairy here. Yeah. So they're trying to pull out. Yeah, perspective, that's right. Oh, hi. Zach. Oh, okay. Zach Horton. Yeah. Mask and a helmet, mask and a helmet, mask and a helmet, mask, cap, mask and helmet. Oh, helmet. Yeah. Now you see some of these trucks, if you see a car with a red number plate, that means it's new. Yeah, red number plate, Baidang is a new car. So when you first buy, if you buy a new car, it's a red number plate, and you get that, it's a temporary plate. Yeah. You see us, is it? You know, so yeah, so this is it. You know, come up the wrong side of the road. It's quite normal to come up the wrong side of the road, sneak in on the wrong side. That's just normal. They don't even call it the wrong side. Yeah. So yeah. So you can see many more motorbikes here. This is what equivalent to a local bus. Yeah. So I'd love one of these as a little family runabout. I think it'd be great. Yeah. But that's what local buses are like. So they're basically, I suppose they're flatbed trucks that have had these sides put on. You have to get them done at a thing. Yeah. Alright, should we walk back up? There's a bunch of workers. See, that's if you work on a building site, that's how you get transported. And you'll notice as well that there are as many women as there are men working on construction sites. It's not a male-dominated thing. So these people, like you see these people in the back of a pickup truck here, they will be going back to their camp, which will be kind of corrugated iron, kind of shanty town. And yeah, it's families. They come down. Yeah. But that's how the workers work here. Yeah. So they're probably having a good giggle at me. Yeah. Yeah. So that's, if you work on a building site, if you're working in construction, that's how you're going to get transported about. Yeah. Let's see what's happening in the chat there. Can you read any Thai? Yeah, I can. If it's kind of like in a context that I understand. Zach, what's that? I need a good small scooter just to run to work back home. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's just take you back up here now. Give you an example of. So most houses will have a shrine like this. Yeah, pay respects to their gods. What's that? This is so weird. Live on the mountain in Utah and have not worn a mask yet. Wow. Yeah. Am I far from the beach? 10-minute drive from me. Oh, hi, FP Angel. What's that? Did you see my pyramid decode, Nick? Keep your eyes out for those. What's that? Niches. For me in other structures where you live. I have decoded the signs. Okay, no, I must admit I haven't. I do pop by on your channel from time to time. Pyramid. Okay, pyramid decode. All right, man, I'll check it out. But you niches. Okay, I'll obviously I'll know more about what you mean when I go and have a look at your channel there. Yeah. Oh, hello. Boga like up? Beans. Yes. Ah, tour. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. I asked her what she's planted and she replied in English, beans. Video, okay, hang on, let me see that. The masks look creepy, they do, don't they? What's the video title? APM Research, the Milky Way, the pyramids, free energy, the Ark of the Comet. Okay, wow, okay. Yeah, good doggy protector. Okay, FPV Angel, thank you, I will look out for that. I do love your stuff. And I think, obviously you and Sandra and who else you got there? You're so dedicated to trying to work this out. It's fantastic, and I've always sensed that this whole thing about this does lead to free energy, because obviously we are living in a world, and again I think that goes back to talking about the motion that creates time is energy, isn't it? This is, you know, if we can tap into that, wow. But of course, that's I think to be honest, that's a major part of the globe distraction. You know, is you know, the idea that you have to have this moving mass to create energy. Yeah. Whereas obviously there's something more ethereal about the energy. Yeah. Okay, from the team, nice one. In Korea, they walk the dog. Yeah. There's a nice little, there's a Labrador there. Kind of some kind of Labrador cross, I think. Oh. But yeah, you know, I must admit, I do spend too much time thinking about the future and worrying about the future, and of course, I keep trying to judge or kind of weigh up where is best for my kids and all that stuff, and but you know, really, I know I'm in a good place here. Yeah, there's a little. Let's check out this guy doing the wicker here. Can you see him? I think he's making a. He's making a. Sawasdee krab. อันนี้ขอถามหน่อยครับ Just gonna ask him. อันนี้จับปลาหรือเปล่าปลาอ๋อฮะจับปลาไหลอ๋ออีลใช่ไหมปลาไหลอ๋อเข้าไปในรูนี้ใช่ป่ะอ๋อนี่แบบขายใช่ไหมขายใช่ไหมผมเดินทานบ่อยแต่ไม่ค่อยถามไงเนาะเยี่ยมเลยนะรักษาวัดประเพณีเนาะเยี่ยมเลยปัญญาชาวบ้านเนาะดีนะดีครับดีคือทำอันนี้คือเก็บไก่ใช่ไหมก็ทำได้ทุกอย่างใช่ไหมใช่ chopping boards เยี่ยมเลยนะผมกำลังถ่ายวิดีโอขอบคุณมากครับครับ so he makes what he's making there is to catch eels. Yeah, so you put it in the water and obviously they go in a certain way. I suppose it's a bit like those kind of old style fish traps. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, good, nice, Zach. I'm glad that's kind of, yeah, that's the whole thing, isn't it? You know, the sun. I mean, you know, thanks, Bunmi, when they're grown. I think you're right. You know, that was with my oldest daughter. She's fine. She's finding her own way, and there was never any pressure. I had that internal pressure. I was thinking, oh my God, I got to get her an English education. But eventually, it worked out for her. She's bilingual, you know, and she's doing well here. But no, what? Oh, yeah. The thing about the sun, if you think about it, you know, when they talk about the Coriolis effect, yeah. Now, if you can, have you ever seen, like, when an aeroplane is coming into land, the wings, on the wings, you get the spiral. If you get those vapor trails, you get a spiral that goes off in one direction above the wing and off in the other direction below the wing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, the wings of an aircraft, yeah? So I see the Coriolis effect as being created by the sun, like that. You know, the sun goes across the sky, goes around and around above the flat Earth, and so what happens is either side of the sun or either side of the equator, the sun's movement, or just the heat that the sun is creating, whatever it is, doesn't have to be a physical object, does it? It's just a focal point of light. But the way I see it is that the sun goes across like that, just like the wings of an aircraft. And so either side, vortexes, you've got this vortex either side of the sun as it travels around, yeah? And that gives you the Coriolis effect, yeah? So, you know, the hurricanes or the storms, you know, they go one way on the north of the equator and then they go another way south of the equator. Well, I just see that in the same way as an aircraft wing, and when it goes across, you've got a vortex going one way on one side, on the top side, and a vortex going the other way on the bottom side. You see what I mean? Yeah? Epicycling. Okay, AFPV Angel, it's called epicycling, Nick. We decoded it in a while back. Oh, I'm way behind the curve there with you, man. Nice one. Vortexes. Okay, yes. You have a bit of it. Nice one, Sandra. I will check it out. Oh, hello, puppy. Hello. Oh, this puppy's on heat, so that's why she's being followed by this one. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. See, he's just following her around. She's on heat. That's another wonderful thing about the dogs here. They're just kind of left to do their thing. Yeah. So yeah, they just wander around, getting their own exercise. Yeah. Sometimes it gets a bit crazy because they end up forming packs, but most of the time they're pretty chilled. Yeah. Ah, yes, I've seen that. Of course, exactly that. Rich. Sorry, who's that? Rich Spillman. Yes, exactly that. Just like when you put your finger through. Oh God. Just like when you put your finger through water. Yeah, the vortex that you get on either side. This is physics. This is real physics. So that's the way I see the sun creating the Coriolis effect, just like that. It's not, you know, that's just, I mean, that's another, just something that you can, it's physics, isn't it? You know? Yeah. So this is my little neighborhood here. Oh, someone doing his welding on his roof there. Yeah. So, yeah. And, so this is kind of, you know, where I live. Okay, there's someone delivering water here. Yeah. Oh shit. What's that, Sandra? Physics, great. Oops, hang on. Demonstration of that a few years. Okay, nice one. Boomy, agree, Nick. Is air the gas form of water? Yeah, it would make sense. They have similar properties and react in the same way as, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the air is just like a kind of less dense version of water, isn't it? Yeah. Javi. So no vax, no possibility. You travel to Thailand. Is it man? Okay, as far as I understand, well, the way I did it, the way I got here, let me just turn this around. Okay, whoops. Okay, obviously when I came back to be with my family, there weren't vaccines available at the time, and I just had to do 3 PCR tests in the end. I had to do one 72 hours before I got here. Before I got on the aircraft, and I, in order to get my visa, I had to get a certificate of entry. So I had to pre-book my quarantine hotel. There's about 30 or so quarantine hotels to choose from, and so it's possible to come here without having to get vaxxed up. You go, you book your quarantine hotel, you get insurance. If anyone wants any of these details, I'm quite happy to help you out. You have to get insurance that covers you for COVID, but the thing is, you could just get it for a couple of weeks and it's enough just to show that I think basically as long as you've got enough, if you cover your quarantine period, which is 14, 16 days, yeah, they just want to know that if you've got COVID, or if you test that period where they're testing you for COVID, if it turned out you were positive, then you'd have to be able to pay for your own hospital. So you have to have insurance, yeah? So, I mean, my insurance, my health insurance, which I've never ever had to get before, cost me about €300. But that was because I got 6 months worth or something like that. But I could do it just for a couple of weeks, and it would just be maybe it would be a lot less, yeah? So, yeah. Hi, Rune. Yeah, you'll wait things out. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I'm really hoping that eventually, but who knows? It's just so difficult to tell. So difficult to tell, you know, whether they'll eventually drop it. Hopefully they will, because it just makes economical sense, you know. But anyway, you don't have to be vaxxed to get here, because the thing is, that's the thing, even if you're vaxxed, they still insist that you have the PCR tests before and during your stay. And as I was saying the other day, a load of people cancelled because at first they were saying, okay, if you're vaxxed, you can stay in Phuket for 7 days and then you're free to travel around the country. But then they suddenly flipped and said, oh, you still got to spend 14 days here. And the thing is, they were talking about, like, you know, not only tracking and tracing on your mobile app, but like actually having these kind of, like, you know, the same things they use to keep track of criminals, yeah. And of course, you know, people just cancelled their reservations, yeah. So yeah, 3 PCRs, yeah, I know. You know what I did though? What I did was I gargled and did nose rinses with tea tree oil, a few drops of tea tree oil in water, and all my PCR tests, I've no idea of the cycles they were doing, no idea at all, but I made sure before I did any test that I gargled and did a nose rinse with tea tree oil in water, and I passed every single one of them. So while I was in the UK trying to get here, I was some poor guy who'd had his wife over here had just had a kid, and you know, like you know, a young baby, and he got 3, you know, because that's the thing, you have to book everything up first before you do the test, because the tests have to be 72 hours in advance, and he failed the PCR test 3 times. Three positive PCR tests. You know, he's desperate to get back to his kid. I mean, this is what it's all. It's insane. Yeah, so sad. Yeah. Tea tree oil. Yeah, because it's an antiseptic. Yeah. So I found it works well. It worked for me, and yeah. It would get rid of any kind of, like, lurgy that was hanging about. Yeah, just gargle with it. And of course, you can swallow a bit as well. You know, just like 2 or 3 drops in a glass of water. Gargle it, swallow the last bit, and then, you know, do the nose rinse, where you basically kind of, you know, you tilt your head on the side and pour it down one nostril, goes up there and comes out the other one. Yeah. You bring me, I know they're okay. Yes, I think so. I'm stubborn. Yeah, I hope so too. I think that's the thing. You know, we know it's, you know. Isn't it mad that people are just like, okay, yeah, I'll get jabbed just so I can go on holiday, or this, that, and the other, and we know that's what they're doing, is they're just push, squeeze, yeah. But of course, Phuket being one of these provinces where they want to kind of make it the first where people come, I was saying the other day, if even just leaving the province, if I wanted to come back in the province by land or air, I'd have to have a PCR test or the vax, you know. So, hey, it's been an hour now, and yeah, okay, Trev, thank you, good to see you, and yeah, here's my gaff. Okay, so yeah, there's no secrets here, just this is who I am, this is where I am. Anyone's welcome. Okay, FPP Angel, thank you for the tips and the heads up, and all of you, thank you for coming in. And yeah, flowing water is the only proof you ever need. If any other arguments aside from that are superfluous, irrelevant, unless someone one day can come up with proof that water doesn't flow down a curve. Yeah. All right. So thanks very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the little walkabout, and we'll catch up very soon. Yeah. All right. Take care. Swadee Cup.